Okay, I think we're recording. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone's Saturday? I know it's early, so thanks for bearing with me. And anyone have any fun plans for the weekend?
I'm going to the Boysenberry Festival at Knott's Berry Farm today.
Boysenberry. Didn't even know that was a thing. Well, I
Oh,
knew
I didn't know that.
boysenberries were a thing, but not the festival.
I'm getting my hair done today, and then I'm having brunch for Easter with my parents tomorrow.
Awesome. Getting fun changes for your hair or
No, girl, I'm a creature of habit. Just gonna do this.
Okay, so before we get started, well, I'm just going to briefly kind of talk about what we're going to chat about today, Organization 101. So I've kind of broken it into two separate sessions, like topics. The first one's going to be about organizing your life, and the second one's going to be about organization as a student. But before I get started, I want to do a 5-minute guided meditation for you guys to like start the day out right. Kind of just get yourself in the right headspace for today. So you all are muted, which is great. So I'm going to start this. You guys are welcome to turn off your video. It's just a short, like 6-minute meditation to kind of get us in the right headspace. Okay.
Hi there, welcome to my meditation channel. This is a very short session with some remedies for your daily work, and this session is going to be based on starting the week or the day. So let's go ahead and start with some stretches to get some energy flowing in our bodies. So what we are going to do is just draw small circles with our head towards one direction. We are going to do 2 circles, slowly allowing your body to wake up and to start working and get going. Very good. And when you have done these 2 circles, now let's change the direction and go on the opposite way. And we will also do 2 circles here. Nice and gentle. Just take some time and allow your body to wake up. Very good. After you've done this, you can just stay resting your chin on top of your chest, facing downwards, and just allow your neck to open up and release any tension that you may have from the previous night. And slowly you are going to gaze forward once again. Very nice. Let's just also do some circles here with our shoulders backwards. So draw some circles here with your shoulders towards the back of your body. And after you've done 2, you can also change direction and do some circles forward. Very nice. If you're at your desk or at home, or if you feel comfortable enough, go ahead and stretch up your arms, taking some more space and energy. Make sure you're lengthening your spine. And now open your arms to the side of your body and inhale here, opening your chest, and exhale and let go. Very good. We are going to now use our breath to take some more energy. So inhale with me and take some energy for the week and the day ahead. And exhale through the nose, nice and slowly. Very nice. Inhale once again, sending oxygen and energy to your belly and your chest. And exhale through the nose. One last time, we are going to take some energy from the world around us, send it to our body, and exhale through the nose. Keep breathing nice and gentle. Keep taking some more space with your chest and your belly and bringing some energy and fresh air into your body and mind. And I would like you to repeat after me this very short mantra. I am capable of completing this week with success. I am much stronger than I thought. I have an inner strength that will help me carry out my activities. Very nice. Keep breathing through your nose, inhaling deeply and taking energy, and exhaling through the nose as well, and getting ready for the day ahead. So just remember that it's very useful to organize your day and your week. So make sure you schedule some time to check in with yourself, maybe to do some meditation, some breathing exercises, or yoga or sports in general. And make sure you're keeping a positive mindset throughout the day and the week. Just try to stay positive and kind to yourself and to others. We are going to inhale once again together through the nose. Very good. And exhale through the nose. Once again, bring some energy to your body and mind. And exhale nice and gentle through the nose. So also I would like to take the chance to remind you that habits and a routine can be very useful for you. So make sure that you allow your body and mind to have some sort of a schedule to help you to be more efficient and work better. And of course, self-discipline is going to be key to keep on this routine and to keep with your meditation exercises. So just make sure that you work on self-discipline, and I'm just going to leave you with a short quote on that to motivate you for this day ahead and to hopefully help you to carry out your work or your studies in a much better and healthy way. So here comes a quote: find strength in discipline and rise. Today you have a chance to be the person you want to be. Thank you so much. Namaste, and have a wonderful day ahead.
All right, everyone, when you're ready, let's come back from that. Okay, any thoughts or feedback on mindfulness today?
I really appreciated that. I think that we often can be intimidated by things that we maybe don't understand. I've had the good fortune of, I was a yoga teacher for 10 years, but I'm also a spiritual Christian. So a lot of people don't like that. They think that it's like crossing over into, I don't know, a realm that makes them uncomfortable, but there's so much power in just meditating and breathing and centering and just taking those few minutes to clear your head, especially before you start something important like this. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else have any thoughts on the mindfulness meditation this morning?
I liked
It was great.
Yeah. I haven't done a meditation
Yeah.
before, so I like how it was only short, but it was good to start the morning off like that.
Good. Samantha, were you trying to say something as well?
Yeah, I was saying I think it was a great icebreaker, and it was very relaxing, and it helped ease out any anxieties that anybody might have had.
Perfect. Okay, so I just really, you guys, it's totally up to you. Like when you put these into your day, I find when I like actually schedule them into my day, it's kind of more important for me. It was if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it in 10 minutes, or I'm gonna do it after lunch. It like never really happens. So I have to like really schedule it in to my day. So the next one that I want to kind of do for a little icebreaker fun activity is you guys are able, on the bottom it says reactions, and you can raise your hand. I'm going to say a series of 10 questions or statements. And if they like resonate with you or that they're like talking about you, great, go ahead and raise your hand, your digital hand. So, okay. So the first one is I can never find my homework. I feel like that one's easy for us because it's all online. Oh, Alicia.
I feel like I get like with this class a little bit, I got confused on what we specifically have to turn in and what other people have to turn in, like with group projects like that. So I just get a little bit confused on that. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty planned out.
Okay. And then I don't know how you make it go away. Does anyone know? Do you have to click on it again? There you go. Perfect. Okay. The next one is, why is there never enough time in the day to do everything I need to do? Okay.
That's yes, that's me all day. I'm always like I have so much I want to do in life, and I don't ever get to do everything. I feel like there's something I left out.
Good. Okay. 3 out of 4 on that one. Okay. The next one is, how can I possibly get to my next appointment in the 5 minutes I have? Selena, Nicole, make sure you take your hands off. You gotta like re-click it, I think. Unless you resonate with this one too. There you go.
I said this one only because my job, basically I'm a special education student aide. So between classes, we only have like 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, like my little office is here in the garage. I have to like run inside, go restroom, get a quick snack if I need to, and then make it back within like 5 minutes and still be like on time. So it can be a little difficult.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, the next one is, I'm always late in the morning because I can never find the clothes I want to wear. I see some smiles, but no hands. Okay, we'll go to the next one.
I think, I'm sorry to
Oh, no,
stop
go
you.
ahead.
I think the older you get, and I hate to be the old lady that's always talking about being old, but the older you get, the less those things concern you. Like you just go, I know it looks good. I can't be bothered with this. Just put it on and go.
I also think there's a big difference. Like, so the statement could be taken 2 ways. In my way, it's like, I can't find the clothes I want to wear because I'm messy, or I can't find the clothes I want to wear because I can't decide what looks good. So I feel like that one could go both ways for sure. Okay, the next statement is, I don't do as well as I want on assignments because I always seem to forget to do some part of it. Celine, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sometimes I feel like I get so consumed with like my personal life or work that I remember that I have a homework assignment. But I know for some classes, even if it's like a discussion question, there's like 4 parts to it. And then if I miss that one part, then I don't get the full credit. So just, I need to be very thorough when I answer, and I can't be rushing my answer all the time.
Thank you for sharing. Let's see, I'm trying to decide which ones to do. I get myself or other people stressed out because I'm always forgetting where I put things, times when things are happening, or what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, we got 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely bad at misplacing things for sure. And I'm always like, Dad, where did I put this? And he's like, I don't know, like it's not my stuff. We even have a saying in this house, it's called the Alicia look. Did you do an Alicia look? Because you didn't really look. If you did an Alicia look, somebody's gonna come in and it's gonna be right there.
Any other thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I would have to say I relate to that. I'm always losing my phone, misplacing my glasses and keys. I was like, and I literally just have it in my hand, and like I turn around, I'm like, what did I do with it? And it's like it's right there.
My favorite is when I'm like using the flashlight on my phone to find my phone. Like, we've been there. At least I've been there. Can't speak for everyone, but it's like, seriously, I've been looking for this for 10 minutes and I've been using it to look for what I'm looking for. So, okay, we got 4 left. The next one is, have you ever lost any important documents? Okay, good. So maybe more important things are kind of at the top of our list to take care of. Samantha, you kind of segued into where my next question is. Do you lose your phone often? Okay. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, same as like how you are. Like I misplace it and I lose it all the time. I have like permanently lost a few phones, unfortunately, like just because I forget them, which it's like something very expensive that you shouldn't forget, but I don't know why. It's like it's one thing that I always lose. So.
Okay, 2 left. It's kind of the same question though, so I'm going to say just one. Would you consider your house to be tidy? You can raise your hand if yes, and otherwise say don't raise your hand. Okay, does anyone want to share? So the 2 people that said yes, your house is tidy. Do you want to share why you keep your house tidy or how you're able to keep your house tidy?
I think because thank you, Ginger. Sorry. She's having like an asthma attack. I think because I suffer from anxiety and I'm a recovered addict, I think having order around me calms me. And so this is my house. So yes, tidy is like an understatement. Like people come over and they're like, is this like a model home? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, shut up. I mean, I do my best, you know what I mean? But of course there are things that I don't think are tidy, but any normal person would walk in and be like, you're very organized. But it keeps it calm. I'm not trying to be, I am being funny, but it calms me. And I think I just have a routine. There are things that I do every day. There are things that I do every week to make sure that my house is clean and organized, probably to a fault.
Any other thoughts on that one, or the opposite of maybe your house isn't clean and if why you choose that or why that's kind of put on the back burner?
So my house is clean, but my parents just have a lot of stuff, but they know how to organize it, if that makes sense. It's clean, but there's a lot of stuff. A lot. And I always joke, my sister and I always mess around saying like, we just want a day where we could just dump a bunch of stuff, because I think as my parents are getting older and all like these like pandemic and then like emergency, because we live by the canyon, so we have a lot of like fires. So now they're starting to think like, what do we need for an emergency and all that stuff. So there's like a bunch of like, I don't want to say unnecessary things, but I mean, it's been here for like 10 years. So I'm pretty sure that we can like throw it out and shop for new things. But I think my parents are right now like in a headspace where they want to keep everything for just in case. But it's accumulating a lot.
Eventually, guess who gets to go through that?
I know. I know, like in our garage, there's a huge like plastic box of just like pens and lanyards. And my dad's like, somebody might need a pen. And I'm like, those pens are like 20 years old. Like, I'm pretty sure they're all dead anyways. Like,
I'm dying. My parents are the same. They have like a
I
safe
hate it.
room and like so
Yeah.
much water. I'm like, what are you doing with all
But
this?
they know how to organize it, which
Yeah.
makes it look clean. But it drives me nuts.
That's you guys like explained my mother-in-law to a T. I love her. I love you, Carol, but she is a like, I don't want to say a hoarder, but an organized hoarder. And I'm just every time we go, I'm like, one day I'm gonna be the one going through this, and it like stresses me out. But I try not to let other things that I can't control stress me out. Okay, so what I'm hearing from you guys is we all have things that we're really good at organizing and things that we might be able to work on. So the next part I want to talk about is why good organizational skills are linked to success with everything, with school, with work, with home. So being organized and having organizational skills allows you to be effective in what you do and be effective at any task that you decide to take on. It reduces stress that can hinder your achievement. So kind of like I just mentioned, going over there like really stresses me out, but I need to remember that I can't control that. There's 2 more. So they buy you time and energy to reach your true potential in everything that you take on, and they allow your true talents and abilities to shine through by preventing chaos and disorder. So I wanted to ask you guys a time that you weren't able to find something because you weren't organized or you didn't put it away properly and it caused you unnecessary stress.
One time in high school, for some reason, we misplaced our car keys and we could not find it at all. Like my mom had to go to work, she had to go drop me off at school. And it got to the point where I was already late, that luckily one of my friends was late, that I had to ask them like, hey, can you come pick me up because I'm gonna miss school basically because we can't find these keys. And it turns out we left them in my dad's car from like the previous night, and he had gone to work in the morning. So like we were just searching for nothing basically because we had like not even thought that they were in the car. And my mom had to like call my aunt to come take her to work kind of thing. Like it was just a lot of unnecessary chaos that happened because we misplaced the keys and didn't like take them out of the car.
Well, I have a story about losing my phone. Was actually didn't happen that too long ago. Usually, so I live with like my mother and my stepfather, and sometimes my stepfather works night shifts, and we all have one vehicle, which is mine, that we all use. So at night, I allow my mother to basically go ride and pick him up. But usually I have to stay at home because I have to get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready and prepare for work. So I happened to lose my phone that night, and I'm looking like my mom had already left with the car, and I'm just like I'm freaking out because that's really the only alarm clock I have, and I'm like, oh my God, if I go to sleep now and I lose, I might not make wake up in time. I'm over here thinking like, did I leave it at work? Did I leave it like, is it in the home? I could have sworn I had it. Like, is it in the bathroom? I'm like tearing the house up. I'm moving things around. Then I'm just sitting in my bed and I'm like, what if I left it in the car? Like maybe it's in the car. And then I'm like trying to make peace with myself. Like it's like an internal conflict I'm battling in between both the two. And then I'm just like, okay, I think I left it in the car. I'm gonna relax because I kind of had to like retrace my steps, kind of go back into thinking like, okay, when did I last have my phone? Where was I at that time? I had to ask myself these questions. And then I was like, I think I left it in the car. I'm going to relax. I'm going to do some mindfulness. And I waited. I just stayed up, by the time they get home, it's like 12 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, she's like, hey, you left your phone. And like, that's the first thing that comes out of her mouth, like immediately. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, okay, thank you so much. Good night. And yeah, so it was unnecessary stress.
When I was in high school, I had a really bad car accident. I had a head injury. And after being whatever, I was in the hospital for like a month. And then after everything was, I was home and kind of recuperating. I was looking for these jeans that in my mind I knew were in my dresser and I couldn't find them anywhere and I was freaking out. And my poor mom is like, I think we gave those away. And I just was so certain that we had them. And the stress of having, because I had to relearn how to talk and I had to relearn how to do like word association and all these other things. So I was beating myself up about not being able to remember when in actuality we had like given them to Goodwill or whatever. And I was like, I had a complete meltdown. And my mom's like, it's gonna be fine. They're just jeans. But anyway, way more stress than there needed to be. Not necessary. The drama.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from all of you is that we've all made maybe organizational, and I don't want to say mistakes, but maybe made some things or these incidences has caused us to think of ways we can organize ourselves maybe a little bit better. Nicole, I want to push I don't want to push yours aside. I don't want to relay that because you obviously were dealing with something that was pretty traumatic and for you. And so by organizing, that wouldn't have helped you any better. But for the other ones, like maybe just a little bit better organization could have helped you from feeling those stresses and having that unnecessary stress on you. So the next thing I want to move on to is separating facts from fiction when it comes to organizational skills and being organized. So one of the myths that maybe you've heard or haven't heard is organizing is the same as being neat. So just think about that. Think if it's the same, if it's you think being organized and being neat is the same, if it's different, and then I'm gonna tell the fact about that. So the fact associated with organizing is the same as being neat is organizing is not about how the space looks, but how it functions. So in this instance, being neat and being organized are two completely different things. So you can be organized. Typically, if you're organized, it's going to look neat. But if you're neat, it might not mean that you're being organized. So for an example, we're moving into my house right now, and we have like storage tubs like on the shelves, and it looks super neat. But if you open those, God knows what's in each one. It could be kitchen stuff, bathroom stuff, dog stuff all in one. So it looks really neat, but it's not organized. And if you ask me to go find something, you might be waiting some time. So can you guys think of any examples that something might be organized but not neat? Or neat but not organized?
Yeah, so in our house, we're kind of like Celine's family, where we have a lot of stuff that we've just accumulated over, oh, this little knickknack has a memory or something like that. So we call it like an organized mess almost. Like our house could be kind of messy at times, but we know where everything is. Like pretty much like down to the little nail that we need to get to hang up a picture. We know where it's at, but it's behind 50 things over there. So you kind of gotta move all that stuff. That makes sense. Like, so we call it an organized mess here.
I often hear of the term organized chaos as well. It's just last night, I went to my friend's house. She's like, it's organized chaos. Like the kids are running around, the dogs are running around, but she knows exactly what time it is and what she needs to do in the next 5 minutes. Any other thoughts on that myth before I move on to the next one?
Yeah, I would have to say, like, does anybody have that one like hardware drawer where it's just where you keep all the hardware? Is like any like hammers, nails, glue, tape, manuals.
I have a bin, a plastic bin. Yeah, it's like duct tape and
like,
random like level thing, electronic level thing, and like
yeah, phone chargers, pieces,
rubber gloves.
like,
Why do I need these? I don't need these ever.
it goes in that drawer in my kitchen. It's neat, but that one's not necessarily organized.
It makes me laugh because when we moved to this house, I told my husband, I am not going to allow a junk drawer. No junk drawers. None. We've lived here less than a month, and guess who has a junk drawer? Okay, so the next myth, I just want you guys to think about, I don't need a response or anything, is being organized is a talent you're either born with or not.
I think it could be a tendency that you're maybe born with, but I think it's influenced. I don't think it's inherent. I think it's based on how your family is, maybe how your mom kind of does things, and then you'll either mirror that, model that, or do the opposite because maybe it drove you crazy. So my parents are like the other houses that you guys talked about, where there's so much stuff. Do you need all the reading glasses? Like every time she's at the drugstore, she's buying reading glasses. And I'm like, you're like 60 pairs of reading glasses at your house. What are you doing? But they're all they're organized, but there's so many. I get very itchy in their home because it's like there's so much stuff. But so I think it's like I'm minimalist, the opposite of my mom. So I think it just depends on, I think that's a nurture versus nature thing. And I think it's nurtured.
So the fact associated with that is organizing is a learnable skill. However, neatness can be viewed as genetic, which is very interesting. Go ahead,
Yeah, it's
Alicia.
interesting because I like my parents are kind of like complete opposites. My dad, he's very neat to the point where sometimes he has a little bit of, he even said like he has a little bit of OCD sometimes with, especially with his stuff specifically. Like all his wires need to be organized a certain way, and all his hats need to be like lined up a certain way. But like my mom, she's like the complete opposite. She's just like, whatever looks good right here, like as long as it's put away, whatever, like it doesn't even matter, like it's okay, I'll put it away later, like it's okay. My dad's sitting there like looking at it like, are you sure about that? Kind of thing. And that's because my dad's dad, my grandpa, he was very strict on being clean, being neat, having the rooms in check, and having their stuff very clean and organized. And then my mom's mom, so my grandma, she was just like also carefree and everything, like just like, yeah, it's okay as long as it's not dusty or dirty, it's fine, you know, like it could be messy but not dusty or dirty, kind of like that. And I can kind of see like almost I have a little bit of both, like in shared spaces I'm very clean and neat, and then in my own space I'm messy, like especially with my clothes. Like I hate putting away my clothes. I hate it. Like it's such an annoyance of a chore that I do it. Like I just do anything to avoid it. So it's funny how you're saying that it can be kind of both inherited and like taught, I guess.
So my question to you is, once the clothes are put away and you're able to find things, is it less stressful for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot nicer. My room feels cleaner. Things feel like I know where they're supposed to be, but in the same time, like with the mess of the clothes and everything, I still know where everything's at. Like I know this pair of jeans is on the floor and I know this shirt is in my drawer. Like I know exactly where they're at, kind of, even though it's a mess.
Nicole is cringing. I can see her just like twitching a little bit. Like it is, look at her, it's making her so uncomfortable. And it makes me laugh because you guys are like complete opposites, but yet you guys resonate with so many things that are similar. Go ahead, Nicole. I can tell you. Get it out.
My closet is color coordinated. I'm crying.
Me too.
My closet is organized by type and color.
When I do my like organizing day where I clean everything and I put everything away, I can be that person of, I can color coordinate. Like right now I have like specifically, I have like, okay, I have long dresses, my summer dresses, I have my work shirts, I have my t-shirts, I have my tank tops and all of that. But the clothes that I wear often and like gets washed and all of that, the putting it away and redoing all that organization, it's just, I don't want to.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of rein us back in a little bit. So we were talking about how it's a talent either you're born with or not. And Alicia, you really touched base on that. Like you can see both ways, like from your parents. So the last myth I want to talk about is organizing is about throwing away things you don't need or don't use.
For me, yes. Yes, times a million, billion, trillion, yes. I think if you don't need it, like throw it away, especially if it's been sitting in our garage for like 10 years plus, throw it away and just get some. Because I noticed too that like, I know my parents keep things, or sometimes I used to be really guilty of this too, of keeping things for like just in case. And then like you don't need it for a while. And then when you need it, you just end up buying whatever it is anyways. You don't use that just in case item. Does that make sense? But there have been times where I'll admit that they'll want to keep something, and then like maybe like the next week, one of us will need it. But like I said, it's really simple just to buy it instead of having it accumulate around the house.
Okay, so the fact associated with that is, sorry, Celine, but you can keep everything that you want to keep and still get organized. Does anyone have any examples of how you might want to, Celine, you kind of touched on like they want to keep the pens, but they're just kind of like chaotic. Is there a way that you could organize those more that would let you
Well,
feel?
they do organize it. Like I said, it's in a huge like plastic bin, and my dad found space in our garage to put it there. So it looks, like I said, it looks organized, but I have to send you guys a picture. It's horrid. I hate that thing. It, I hate it. It's like so unnecessary. But anyways, yeah, he knows how to organize his stuff, and he finds the right placement so it looks like it's all put together. But if you open it, like my mom, my sister, and I, we were just plotting on like throwing it all away because those pens don't even work. Like we just want to throw everything away. Like there's no point in keeping. Can you tell my passion of hate for this? Nicole, you'll die. You have to see it. I'll send a picture. But yeah,
No, my parents have the same thing. Yes, no, I react the same way. And I think the more space you have, a lot of times people feel like, well, I can get more stuff. I'm like, no, just stop buying things. Like you don't need any more cleaning supplies.
yes.
You
And my
don't
dad,
need another duster or another, like at the beginning of the pandemic, I did a pay cut for us at my company. So my parents, we were working from home. So my parents let me come over and like organize stuff and then they would pay me or whatever. And it took a month to organize their garage slash house. And I could have worked on it for like another 6 months. It's just trinkets and Christmas ornaments and little flashlights and cooking utensils. And how many whisks can you have? You don't even cook, lady. Like my mom doesn't, she's like microwaving things. And she has like the Pampered Chef collection. Like Sur La Table is basically in her house and she's like uses none of it. Anyway, I'm tripping. Anyway.
Okay, so we kind of talked about myths and facts, and kind of how we all resonate with organization and um, neatness. So the next thing, it's going to require you guys to get up and go find 5 things. So I'm going to make a list of 5 things. I'm going to list them off. Don't worry, I tried to make it as easy as I could. Like I literally thought about things you guys would be able to find easy, so we don't spend a ton of time finding them. And then once you come back, I'm gonna ask you to do a task with them, and then we're gonna move into some more ways to organize a little bit. So the 5 things, I can put them in the chat box as well, is tape, blank paper, something related to nature. You guys can take that any way you want. Your favorite food and jewelry that you are not wearing. Okay, go ahead. Did you get them all already, Samantha? Oh, one more.
Actually, yes, I do have them. Got my
Nice work.
got 'em. I just had to check. I was like, wait, I'm forgetting. Come on. Oh, I am forgetting one. Hold on.
Okay, did you get all 5 things, Alicia?
All but one because we don't have it in this house. But
Okay. Celine, did you get all the things?
Yeah, I'm like panting because I was running up and down.
Good exercise today. You didn't know organization was going to be related to exercise. What thing are you missing, Alicia?
tape. We don't own tape in this house for some reason, and we never do unless it's Christmas.
Okay. I think Nicole is just finishing up, and then I'm going to ask you guys to do something with these things. Are you still on the hunt, Nicole? Got it? Okay. So the next thing I want you guys to do, and Alicia, you can still totally do it without the one thing, is I want you to put them in an order that makes sense to you. So you can like lay them out, you can think about it in your head, whatever makes sense to you, and then an order that makes sense just to you. It doesn't have to make any sense to anyone else. If you guys want to like go ahead and raise your digital hand when you're done so I can tell who's done, that would be great. Okay, you guys can unraise your hands now. I love that feature. It's so nice. So I want you guys to go around and explain to the group how you organize them and why you organize them that way. Does anyone want to go ahead and start us
I'll
off?
go. So what I did is I would first lay down the blank paper. Well, actually, I have it sitting on one of my little cubes that I have. So I have the blank paper sitting down on a hard surface with my base nature. I like to also show. Well, it doesn't really show. I'll have my vase of roses actually that I have as my nature, and then beside that I have the tape. My Pop-Tart, which is one of my favorite foods, laid down, and then I have the necklace.
What was your favorite food?
Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart. I do not know what I thought I heard, but that was not what I thought I heard.
Yes, a Pop-Tart, cookies and cream. One of my
So is it just a way that you can visually see them all? Is that how you
pretty
organize
much,
them?
yes. Yeah, so I can see what everything
Okay.
is. And I can easily reach it.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Does anyone want to go next?
I can go. Can you flip the camera? You can, right?
I think.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we have the tape, office supplies together. I'm such a dork.
No, it's perfect.
I just grabbed this bracelet and I put I have a bird feeder, so I grabbed the tag from the bird feeder that I kept for reasons I'm not sure of. We're actually gonna throw that away. And then I eat these chips almost every day. They're from Trader Joe's. And they go with everything. Like they're good with salsa, they're good with all the things. Anyway.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing.
I'll go next. So for my jewelry, I have a box of like earrings, and I feel like I had to put that first because there's a bunch of like crosses on there. So I feel like if I don't put it first, then I'm not putting Jesus first. So that's first. I get really like antsy about that. And then I couldn't find my favorite food, but my favorite drink of life is coffee. Like I need it every single day. So I put that second, and the nature that I got was an apple because that's like nature's candy. So I felt like I had to put it together because they're both food. And then the blank piece of paper and the tape, they're both together because it's office supplies to Nicole. I had to like put it in sections.
Perfect. Alicia, would you mind sharing how you organized your things?
Okay, I kind of said like, what does each of these things like represent? And I said, obviously my food and like all that. And I said health, but the snack is not the healthiest. I understand, but it is one of my favorites, but it kind of just represents Cheeto Puffs, hot Cheeto Puffs. Okay. It's like the only snack that I could grab quick. And then I said, okay, what's most important was I said paper, but for school, like for school and work and office, because I thought office stuff. And then again, like my box of jewelry, me and Celine live in the same life because this is my box of jewelry right here. And I just did this one because like I like to feel like I look good, and I feel confident when I think I look good, kind of thing. So like I take care of that next almost. And then my mom is a very much a plant person. This is her plant that I just grabbed from outside. So like I guess nature, like yeah, it's important, but it's not like the most important in my life, I guess.
Perfect. Thank you guys for taking the reins and doing that with me and making me feel good about my choices. I was nervous that we weren't going to be able to find the things, or you guys were just gonna be like, you're crazy. But so thank you. So what I'm hearing is everyone here, well, Nicole and Celine kind of organized the things the same way in groups, but everyone has their own organizational styles. So Samantha, what made sense to her was like how she could see them and how she could easily grab them. Nicole and Celine Celine, you did kind of two things, most important and in groups. So I appreciated that. And then Alicia, you did what was most important to least important for you. So other ways that when I've done this before that people have done it is alphabetical or by color. And Nicole, I was ready for you to do it by color, since you said your closet was by color. So you kind of threw me for one there. But so we can kind of see how being organized looks different for everyone. So the next thing I want to go into is a 3-step plan to organizing everything. Okay, so this could be, I don't want to say everything. So it's not related to school, but it's about organizing things like in your life. So it's analyze, strategize, and attack, which I was really hoping the last one would be an eyes too to help us remember, but nothing's that easy. So the first one is analyze. So you want to identify what's working and what's not working for you. And again, that's going to look different for everyone. The next one is identify what is essential within the space, assignment, or task that you're organizing. Identify what the payoff will be to get you organized. So kind of a reward. We live in a society that's backed by rewards, right? Everything that we look to do, we're going to gain something from, and we kind of look for that. So being able to identify that before you start organizing would be really beneficial. And then the last part of the first step of analyze is identifying what the specific problem is. So roadblocks to good organization, what's kind of stopping this from being organized, what you need to get this organized. So anything that might be a potential problem. So the second step is strategize. So we did this one just now by organizing the things that we went and found. So strategizing, and there's kind of two strategies. So it's funny, they call it the kindergarten model. So having clear areas, zones, or tasks broken down and clearly labeled, so there's no confusion. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Samantha, I'm sure you are, like pre-K and kindergarten classes, they have everything labeled on where it goes. And that way it's easy for them, because kids don't know where everything goes. And while we might know where everything goes, in the heat of the moment, we might not put it away exactly where it goes. So having them labeled and kind of remembering where all those things go is going to have us avoid that undue stress that we talked about of not being able to find what we need when we need it. So the last part is step 3, and it's attack. And there's kind of two, what are the things called when, like, hold on, I'm trying to think of a word here. An acronym. There we go. There's 2 acronyms associated with attack, the step 3. So the approach and during your step 3 is kind of depending on what organizational problem that you're trying to fix. So it can be space or physical possession, so your bedroom closet or your CD collection, a task or an assignment, so like an essay, and then organizing your time. So the 2 acronyms that they suggest for attacking a space is space. So you want to sort. So the S is sort. Go through each item and sort it into a group of similar items. The P is purge. Get rid of duplicates, excess, undesirable, and irrelevant items. So in Celine's case, you don't need 1,000 pens. Get rid of the ones that don't work. Get rid of the ones that are the same. Get rid of the ones that you just don't use. The next one is A, is assign a home. Decide where items you keep are going to live. So you're going to kind of make a space for it that makes sense. C, I've never heard of this word, is containerize. So I don't know if it's a true word. Spell check didn't flag it. So use containers to keep things separate. And then the last one is E, and it's equalize. So you want to maintain and update your system over time. So when you organize it the first time, it might make sense in that moment, but let's come back in 6 months and something might not be working. So you want to go back and maintain and update the system. And then the second part of this is attacking for time. So they use WADE, W-A-D-E. So W is write it down. Write down your activities that you need to complete in a planner. A is add it up. So estimate how long each task will take. D is decide when. So designate when each task is going to be completed. And E is execute. So execute your plan and put it into action. And these might all look different depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I want to challenge you guys to to explain if you've ever used these acronyms without actually using these acronyms. So the first one is space. For attacking a space, you want to sort, purge, give it a home, put it in containers, and then maintain or update it. And then attacking time is WADE. Write it down, add it up, decide when, and execute your plan. So while you guys might not have used this acronym like verbatim, but can you think of something that's worked for you in the past that is somewhat similar to these acronyms?
So I've done both, but the one that comes to mind for the space is my closet. I've realized that I have too many clothes. And what I do, I realized I needed to clean my closet when clothes started to not fit in my closet anymore. So what I did was I did the containerized part of it. I went and bought like a huge plastic bin, and then I organized all my clothes in there. But the way I purged my closet was looking at one clothing item, and if I didn't wear it within a year or didn't plan on wearing it for like the next couple months, then it's gotta go. And the home that I gave it to is either my family and we ship like items or clothes to like families in the Philippines. So we do that, or just like Salvation Army and stuff, because it will linger around the house if I do not put it in a plastic bag and throw it away. And then the other one, Wade, for time. I think I'm really good at organizing like trips, especially if like making the itinerary with all the times and stuff, with what time like we would have to leave the house or how long it would take to get from point A to point B. So I'm very like if anything, I'm really annoying about that because I'm very strict with my time, especially if I'm the one like scheduling it.
Thank you. The funny thing that reminded me, when you're like, it's gonna find its way back in. When we've been moving into this house, we have like a pile that we're gonna like sell or donate. And I should have gotten rid of it because I find myself going out there and be like, no, I really need to keep
That's what
this,
I
and
was
like second guessing
I caught
myself.
myself being like my parents the other day too, because I'd have like a huge plastic bag of clothes, and then I'm like, okay, one day I'm like, okay, we're gonna sell it, but then the next day I'm like, let me see what I put in this plastic bag. Do I see myself wearing this? So it just has to go the same day, or else I will go back to it.
Yeah, and so another funny thing is my husband is terrible about like, he's not neat or organized. So he has this bag, and it's like those reusable bags that you get from like the grocery store or something, and it is full of God knows what. So when we moved into this house, I hid it because he has not touched it since probably 6 months after we met. So I hid it, and he has 1 month left. And if he doesn't eat anything out of that bag, I'm not looking in it. I'm not going through it. It's going in the garbage because it stresses me out to have just like bags of stuff that make no rhyme, no reason. It causes me undue stress. Like, no, it's going.
I fully support this. My sister and I did the same thing for our parents. We were like, there's things that they don't need, and we give them in our heads a timeline. If they don't ask for it, that means it's not that important and it can go. If they don't notice it, it can go.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing, Celine. Does anyone else have any tasks that they've kind of used these acronyms, SPACE or, excuse me, Wade?
Yeah.
You could go ahead. I'll go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would have to say that I actually just did it recently with these towels. I have like, I don't know, like 3 totes of towels and bath cloths and the little hand what there's like 3 different sets of them, and like, it's a lot of them, and they were used to just being this big bag, and in the corner, and we actually were using it as a chair when I first moved in here, like just the cushion to sit down on, and hey, we need some towels, here you go, we had plenty, and so I went out to like Dollar General, bought one of these little metal stands, put a lot of those towels up there, gave them a home, containerized, gave some away. And then I also have some set aside for DIY for like, maybe doing embroidery and different things on them as practice, or using them as, I'm making use of whatever I have and also organizing them at the same time. And then I will also say that with the Wade with time, I would have to say that's something I use with work. I do a lot of observation reports. I do weekly observation reports actually, in addition to my other 2 hats that I wear there. And so a lot of times I have to like write out, jot down some of the things that I have to do within that day. Like now, for the 5th, we have to have end of month reports, and for like 3 different programs that I have to do a process for to make sure we get reimbursement and things like that. So I had to make sure that, okay, I have to finish this off by Friday, because if I wait till Monday, then it's going to be too late because it's already the 5th. I had to take into account the dates, the time, all of that. So I had written it down, prioritized which would be most important, and then went from there. So that way, when Monday starts, it'll be a smooth transition into the next week.
Okay, for me, because here in this house, we have like the example I could think of, we have a specific place of where we put our shoes at the front door. So it could get like a kind of messy up there. Just because like we don't always put them away right away. We just kind of take off our shoes and kind of come into the house. So when we go and we organize that area and we clean up that area, there's some shoes that sometimes don't fit. And when it gets to be too much, where like there's too many shoes off to the side, we say, okay, let's go through this and let's find out whose shoes are here and what shoes we haven't been using for the longest time, and if they even fit us, kind of thing, or if they're just worn out or whatever, and we'll kind of get rid of them or we'll donate them in that sense. And then so like when a space gets too busy, then we notice it, but it's not until like it's like a big eyesore, I guess. And then as for time, again, I think Selena and I are living in the same house because we are very specific on time. My dad is like a manager, so he's like scared me into being like, well, I've fired people because they're late. So I'm like a very, if you're on time, you're late kind of thing. Like that's how I grew up. So as far as like that and all of that, like I'm kind of the same way. And then it's never really, when we're organizing, it's never really like a specific time of the year or anything. We kind of go through like these waves of like wanting to get rid of things and getting rid of them, and then like not wanting to and wanting to keep everything, kind of like that. So
Thank you guys for sharing. Does anyone have any other thoughts or ways that you can think about how you would use space or Wade for attacking a space or attacking time?
I have one because people have used this on me, but it works every single time. Alicia, if you also want to steal this too, if you tell somebody to meet you at a certain time, don't give them that exact time. Do it 15 minutes before. And it works every single time. Mm-hmm.
We use that. So my mom is the same as Alicia. Like if you're on time, you're late. If you're not early, you're good. And my husband's family, it's called Corbett time because Corbetts come when Corbetts want to come. So we call it Corbett time. So I've learned when dealing with all family functions on that side that you tell them 15, even sometimes a half hour early, and they might make it there on time, but it's definitely going to be a lot closer than if I tell them the actual time. Okay, so we're coming up on an hour. So I want to give everyone like 5-ish minutes to go to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever you need to do. So let's come back. Come back at like 10:08. So you guys can just turn off your videos, mute yourself, take 6 minutes to do whatever you need to do. All right, everyone, let's start coming back and turning back our videos on. Are you here, Nicole? There we go. Perfect. Thank you guys for being on time. Okay, I did, let's see, we're gonna do one more mindfulness. I'm not gonna do like a guided meditation this time, but I'm gonna read a quote about organizing, and I just want you guys to sit with it for a minute, focus on the quote, how you can relate to it, how you don't relate to it, and then we'll come back again. So the quote is, "For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned." Go ahead and sit with that for a minute, think about that, and I'll bring us back in like a minute. Okay, any thoughts on that quote? Thoughts on mindfulness?
I do think, well, it made me think very simply about how much time I save by keeping things in the same place, by having a timeline, loose timeline in the way that I organize things. And I've learned over the years to clean up after myself as I go throughout the day instead of letting things pile up and then having to clean them all at once, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, so I think having that consistency does save time, because the older you get, the more valuable time becomes too, you know.
I think for me that it's important to organize and go along as you can before everything starts to kind of get overwhelming and like clump together, and then it'll take even more time to have to organize that. So I think doing it as you go makes it a little bit easier.
Any other thoughts on the mindfulness, and maybe not even just that quote, but doing the mindfulness during group as a whole, and if that's like beneficial, if it helps you kind of bring your thoughts in. Any thoughts about mindfulness or that quote?
Yeah, I would have to say that with the quote, I can definitely relate to it because there's been times where I felt like I spent time, like, maybe it's organizing my closet, like having to rehang things, find items where if, like you said, like Celine said, if you just do it as you go, like as soon as I get home, take off my work clothes, put it up in the closet, clean out, just organize it, just put it straight, like my jacket, just put it straight up in my closet, my shoes exactly where it belongs. But by the time when I do come back to clean through it, all I have to do is move. It's already organized. It's already, there's nothing I have to do to it but wipe it down, disinfect, whatever, just to keep it up. And it does definitely save time versus spending that 2 minute or 1 minute, whatever minute it takes, or like let's say doing dishes. Actually, that's a great example. Sometimes I might procrastinate and wait till nighttime to do the dishes, and by that time it's been piled up. It's like it's gonna take me about 20, 30 minutes to get them done and clean the kitchen, sweep the floors and everything like that. But if I do it in the morning, do some of the dishes, whatever it is after breakfast, do it after lunch, every time after we eat, or even instead of just putting dishes in the sink, just washing them immediately, my day runs a lot smoother where I don't have to worry about setting like extra time to chores. I can use that time playing with my hobbies, watching movies, or having fun. I don't have to focus on, that responsibility if it's already just done.
Okay, so I forgot to have you guys ask you to bring a pen back with you when you came back from break. So I know you guys have your blank pieces of paper. If you could grab a pen pretty quickly. I want to do, so it's called Organizational Skills Quiz. And I'm gonna go through, let's see, there's 15 questions. And you guys are just gonna say, you're gonna like rate yourself on each statement. And the scale, I think Celine went to go grab a pen. Oh, no, she's there. Okay. I'll wait till you get back, Samantha. Perfect. Okay. So the scale is going to be from 1 to 4. 1 is never. 2 is sometimes. 3 is usually. And 4 is always. This is designed for high school students, so I might change some things up on the fly because you don't have a locker to clean out. So we'll just work on it. And then after that, I'm going to have you guys total them up and we'll talk about everyone's results and how you feel about them, if you think it's accurate, inaccurate, or things that you found that you could improve on. Okay.
Sorry,
So
what was number 2?
what was that?
What was number 2? Sorry.
Sometimes. So 1 is never, 2 is sometimes, 3 is usually, and 4 is always.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. Okay, question 1. I use a planner to keep track of my homework, work, and assignments. So go ahead and rate that from 1 to 4. Question 2. My planner is filled in with all of my homework assignments and upcoming tests, quizzes, and projects, as well as important dates for work or life events. Question 3. I check my planner before I remove myself from online studies. Okay, question 4, statement 4. I prioritize my homework assignments and plan out when I will complete each one. Again, rate that one from 1 to 4, 1 being never, 4 being always. Statement 5, and this can be at work or school. When faced with a large project or task, I break it into smaller tasks. Question or statement 6. This one is just you guys take it as it is. Okay, I know it's hard because we're online students, but when I do my homework, I have a dedicated, neat space to work that has all the materials I need to do my assignments. Number 7, I have enough time to complete everything I need to each day. Number 8, my space is clean and I can find what I need easily. Number 9, I clean out my space frequently and adjust as needed. 10, I put everything I need for my next day in one spot, and I am not rushed in the morning looking for missed items. Number 11, when I'm studying, I can easily locate any items I need to do my work, like pencils, paper, computer. Okay, we got 4 left. Number 12, when I receive important documents, I file them into something that makes sense for me. Number 13, I feel prepared for my week. That one's hard. I know it's Saturday, so just do your best on that one. Okay, 2 left. My colleagues would say that I am organized. And the last one is my family would say that I'm organized. I know you guys didn't come to math class this morning, but I'm going to ask you to add all of those up to get a total. So the highest you can get is 60. And then go ahead and raise your hands when you're done. Selena, I think I saw your hand up, right? Okay, you guys can take them all down. So I'm gonna go over what they've put together for each scoring group, and then we're gonna chat about it and chat about your results, how you feel about them. So this is the perfect kind of segue because we're gonna move into student organization. So 46 to 60 points is you should be an organizational coach. You have well-developed strategies for organizing your materials and time. 31 to 45 is you have some solid organizational skills and things that work well for you, but room for improvement. Look for times when you don't have the materials you need or feel disorganized. And then 15 to 30 points, which is very interesting to me because you can get lower than that. But time to rein in the chaos. Ask someone to help you set routines for organizing. It'll take a little work, but once you develop your organizational skills, you'll feel more in control of your day and maybe see some improvement in your grades or work. Okay, let's chat about results, you guys. Let's hear what you scored and how you feel, if you think they're accurate, inaccurate, and then ways you can improve.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead first. Okay. So I actually got like 45, and I think it's pretty accurate because it describes I got some solid skills, but there's room for improvement. And I think one of those ways of improving is, like I said, like not procrastinating on certain things. If you see it starting to get a little disorganized, just go ahead and tackle it before it gets worse. That would probably be my take on how to improve my skills. I don't know. I might be listening to you guys for your advice.
Do you feel comfortable, Samantha, sharing like one place in your life that you think you could improve on the most in your organizational skills?
One place in my life. I would have to say it has to be like my home environment a little bit more so. Because at work I'm like super I don't know, I'm like a little bit of OCD in certain areas, but at home there's like some places where I feel like it's my zone, and then there's other places where it's like, okay, I'll get to it later. Like there's more places where I prioritize and than others, and sometimes it feels like it's not exactly where I want it to be. And I guess that personally would be just the way my house functions right now, because I just recently well, at first when I came to California, I was homeless in a car. So my organization skills was terrible because everything was in bags in the trunk. So I had to work through that. And I was in a hotel. And so we were in a hotel for about like almost a year. It's difficult finding a place in a small town. So I had to wait for an opening and things like that. And then living with like, three people, a dog, and one hotel room. That was very hard to make sure that actually really helped me learn to really make sure I have designated areas for certain items, different containers, so that way I can go straight to those items, because every 3 days or so we would either have to move to a different room or whatever. So I had to make sure that I can quickly have those things accessible and that I know where they are at all times. So, and then now that I have my apartment, it's nice, with a patio door, and I have space in the room, it's just making sure that I maintain those things where I still have my designated areas for items, and that I'm not cluttering, because sometimes I do clutter at times. And even though I know where everything is, it's like I just want to make sure that it's reachable and that it looks nice and clean.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. I know everyone tried to go at once, so I'm just going to go in alphabetical order next. So, Alicia, do you want to go ahead and go ahead?
Yeah.
Go ahead and go next.
Despite my messiness at home, when it comes to work and school, I'm very organized and I'm very proactive in that. So I got a 47 in this activity. And yeah, I just like when it comes to school and work, I'm like the complete opposite of how I am at home.
What's something that you feel you're very good at? I know you said work and school. Is there one thing in particular that you feel proud of that you're very organized in? And then one thing maybe at home that you could improve on in your organization?
I think at home is like the preparedness of like maybe getting my outfit ready for the next day, so that way I'm not like spending 20 minutes in the morning like, oh, don't want to wear this, don't want to wear that, this is what I want to wear. Instead I could be doing that 20 minutes with something else. So definitely the preparedness, I guess. And then at work, like I said, I'm the exact opposite. I have everything in order. I have all my files in order. With the important documents, this is my I literally have a binder of my important documents, and in each of these I have like, okay, this is the program I'm in for work, this is for my car loan, and this is for my retirement and all of that. So like I'm very organized when it comes to stuff that's super important, but it's just like at home, like in my room, in my own space, like it's like the exact opposite.
I really enjoyed that you shared that binder. I think important documents we view as important because they're important documents, but I think we can even use strategies like that to organize other things in our lives. And so viewing everything as important, I think, would be really beneficial. Alphabetically, Celine, you're next.
So I actually scored higher than I assumed I was going to. I scored a 53. The one that I scored a number 2 on, I think it was the question where it was like, if you have enough time or something like that. So I say that I don't have enough time, but I always find time. So that's why I answered sometimes. So let's say if I have a really busy like work schedule, regardless if I planned it out or not, I'll make sure that I do whatever homework assignment it is, even if it seems like all the times are cluttered or if I'm squeezing things in. Something that I have been trying to implement is not procrastinating big projects. So I did try to start that PowerPoint that we need to do towards the end of this class. Because knowing myself, I'll probably procrastinate anyway. So even just looking at like the rubric or even just opening up that PowerPoint for like a minute, like I'll feel like I'm actually accomplishing something. So I'm trying to do that. I'm really organized with my work and school calendar. So I have I have a whiteboard only for school, and then I have a work calendar on my computer. And I make sure that I have my school and work on my personal phone, because sometimes even if I do forget an assignment, like I'll get alerts maybe like 3 hours before it's due, so I'll always be reminded of that. Another one that I answered low was my colleagues saying that I'm organized. And the reason why I say that is because, so my field of work, it's ever changing. Like there's never one day where it goes as planned. Um, so I think like being really flexible is something, and sometimes I have to do like last minute meetings or switch sessions up. And I feel like sometimes it can come off as disorganized, but I think it's flexibility. Um, and I think the room for improvement on my end is just keeping consistent with starting assignments early, like actually doing it and not thinking to myself, okay, I'll do a little bit, but then I'll procrastinate later. So just executing it right when I start it.
Anyone else want to share their results or thoughts about the results, ways for improvement?
I got 47, which was mainly because I don't use a planner as much as I used to, like a written out planner. And I scored myself that way, but then after the fact, I started thinking like, yeah, but I have everything in my phones, because I have a work phone and a personal phone. And I do write things down, so I maybe could have scored myself a bit higher on those things, but it doesn't make any difference. I think I also have a lot of things in my head that I know I have to do on a regular basis. But sort of like Celine was saying, there's no day is the same at work. And so I could get to the office and the owner could say, can you go to my house and put this package in the garage? And the entire day is shifted because of that. Or can you run and pick up this prescription for me? So it's like I'm a personal assistant, I'm an executive assistant, I'm an office manager. So it's ever changing. And I think I'm organized in the sense that I know what I have to do as a baseline for the day, but then it could change in a moment's notice. So it just depends. But having a planner is like, I don't want to say it's useless, but because things can change on a dime, it's like, how am I supposed to, I'm not going to like, oh, let me quickly write that down so that I know that I did this. No, it's not going to change anything. So, but other than that, like it was like fours on like the last 10 because I'm a psycho.
I think it's funny that you're like, oh, I'm not going to write this in just so I can know I need to do it. For me, checklists. I can't say I use a planner, but I have checklists, like things I need to do every day. And I will purposely like, so we have a house like to do, honey do, Allie do, whatever, do it as it is list. And I did something the other day and I was like, I'm going to put this on the checklist and check it off just so I feel accomplished. And I think it's important because it needed to get done. And for me, seeing that I've completed something and checked something off is really important for me. And for other people, it might not be as important. But for me, that helps me feel like I accomplished something that day, even if it wasn't something on the original list. Thank you guys for sharing. Let's see. So the next thing I want to go in is time organization. We're all students. We're also all employees. We're also all family members. So I know we often struggle with finding time for everything. So this is called the 4D strategy. And it's kind of just sometimes there's not enough hours in the day to do everything you need to do. So there's 4 Ds that you can think of and kind of put into your day to make you feel like you have some more time. So the first one is delete the task. So D is delete. Decide, like based on your priorities, what you won't be able to accomplish that day. And if it's not important and it has to be done that day, delete it. Move it to a day that might not be as full, or if it's not as important, go ahead and move it, to the end of the day and just delete it from your head so you're not kind of like ruminating on all these things that you have to do. The next one is delay. I kind of got the delete and delay kind of intertangled there, but delay is determine what's important to be done, but you can delay it until a later time. So like Samantha said, hey, like I need to do the dishes, but right now schoolwork's more important. So I'm going to delay the dishes until after what's most important is done or completed. The next one is diminish. So diminish the task. Try to determine the most efficient way to get the task done without taking the maximum amount of time. So brainstorming ways you can get it done quicker without prioritizing the quality of your work, I think is really important to stick in there, because you might be able to diminish the task and, oh, I need to dust, but then I only dust one room, right? So not diminishing it so it's not taking up a ton of time, but still that you're able to get that task completed. And then the last D is delegate. So see if you can find someone to help you where appropriate. Don't ask someone to do your homework for you. I always joke with my husband, like, hey, if I'll clean the house if you do my homework. And he's like, you do not want me to do your homework. And it's just like this long-standing joke we have. So delegate it where it's appropriate. Like if you have family members and you're feeling like you need to do the dishes and maybe they're not as busy, you can ask them to help you with the task. Like this would be really important to me. And it kind of goes back to that interpersonal effectiveness we touched on last week with how to communicate what you need, using that dear man technique, you know, expressing what you need, describing what you need. So that's the delegate. Do you guys resonate with these, agree with these, disagree with any of these?
I do, it does resonate with me in the sense that the habits that I've created help me to not feel overwhelmed a lot of the time, but sometimes it's unavoidable and, you know, life happens unexpectedly. So as organized as the best, you know, most efficient person can be, you never know. Like your car could break down, your bathroom could flood, anything could happen. And even minor things like you stub your toe while you're trying to get ready for work and you're like, now I have to go to the emergency room or whatever, like that you just never know. Or you break a nail. I mean, it's dumb stuff too, but then you're like, oh, I gotta fix this or whatever it is. But I think having family members or spouses or even children to help you with things is a real blessing that everyone who has that option feel grateful that you have that option, because when you live alone, just alone, and there's no cleaning person and there's no husband to do the dishes or mom to, you know, quickly help you with your, not that everybody's moms help them, but you guys know what I mean. It's like when you live alone, everything is on you, keeping your house clean and organized, keeping gas in your car, keeping your bills paid, cooking for you, and if you have a pet, making sure your pet is alive. It can, you quickly appreciate, I mean, it's my choice to be alone, so I'm not resentful of that, but you quickly realize how nice it is to have another human in your home to help you with all the things.
I think I do like half of those, only because I do diminish things by kind of like doing them on different days. Like we said, like with homework, we kind of like break it down a little bit, and I try to do that for the most part. Sometimes it doesn't always go as planned, but for the most part, I try to do that with all my assignments. And then delegate. I'm not usually the one to delegate. I'm the one who's getting it delegated to them because it's usually like my parents ask me, oh, Allie, can you do this? Allie, can you do this? And so that's why it's hard for me to delete and delay, because I want to get like my stuff finished in the day, but then I also want to be able to like help out too and get everybody else's stuff that they asked me to help with, kind of thing. So it's kind of hard for me to delay things because I just want to get it done because it's been on my mind for the past 2 days. So like I just want to get it off.
I think actually that I might use some of these just interchangeably depending on the situation. Like for instance, like when I'm like just the other day, like me and my parents were discussing buying a new freezer and refrigerator. We were thinking about let's do it today at Saturday, and I'm like, no, I got my school thing. I don't want to like be on the road and dealing with internet issues. But and then we had to do this big session. We're like, okay, well we'll delay that till tomorrow, and so that way we can all go and it won't be any rush for anybody. You kind of work that out, but maybe with my schoolwork, I might also like sometimes I will like just get it done, like Alicia was saying, like just to get it out of the way because it's like focused on my mind and I keep rolling it over. So I'll just kind of like get it over with and delete that off my brain. That like that's one task checked off my list, and then I'll keep going with other things that I find that are important to complete within that day. Um,
I think for me, that's where like my whiteboard and my planner or my phone come in handy because I'm a visual person, so I need to see what I should be expecting for the upcoming week. And that's how I prioritize like what to do and what I can put off because I've learned that if I don't put my tasks somewhere where either I can refer back to or remember, then I'll just keep saying yes to everything. And then ultimately, like, I've spread myself too thin. Um, so I think just really knowing what to prioritize, what I can put off, and just like taking upon tasks that I know I can handle at the moment versus like in the next couple of days.
Thank you guys for sharing. What I'm really hearing from you is that we've all deleted, delayed, diminished, or delegated at some time in our life. And some of them are more comfortable for us when compared to like others when we don't want to delete it because we just want to get it done, right? And so I think we've all used them or thought about using them in a sense before. So the next one is even though you're able to delete, delay, diminish, and delegate, you don't want to forget about the 2 P's, procrastination and perfectionism. I see some smiles because we've talked about this already a little bit today about procrastination and perfectionism. So you want to be aware of these 2 things. Procrastination is, some people might say they work better under pressure, but some of us, like when we have to scrape, we're getting by the hair of our teeth, like we're getting things done. We don't do our best work. We're just doing it to get it done. And procrastination also, like you're not able, if you have so many things in a day and you've procrastinated and now you have to get, this assignment done, you're not able to delay the task anymore. You can't delete the task. And obviously with like homework, you're not able to delegate. So you really got to just be aware of procrastination. And then the second one is perfectionism. So none of us are perfect. We all know that. Some of us might strive to be perfect, but there's some things that we're always able to work on. So no one expects your work to be perfect either. Like, yes, we're expected to get good grades, but you can get good grades without being perfect. So delaying or not handling something until it's perfect can lead to a poorer mark than if you just handed it in on time. So I just want to touch base on like some student organization, especially being graduate students. So we only have like 10, 15 minutes left. So many of us as graduate students are juggling our time between work, family, and school. And we also oftentimes find ourselves overwhelmed by the number of things that we need to do every day. The saying so much to do, so little time, I think can resonate with all of us at one point or another. So while knowing how to manage your time, focus, and your energy is crucial, good organizational skills are also really important. So we're able to manage our time effectively. So I'm just going to talk about a couple organizational tips that we're able to use as grad students. The first one we've already talked about pretty in depth is creating a consistent schedule. So whether you're the traditional calendar or we're using it in our phone now, we're able to schedule our work hours, our meetings, our project deadlines, research, writing time, household chores. Like, you're able to schedule all of these things and then find spots where you're able to fit in, 5 minutes of a meditation, or 10 minutes of mindfulness, or 15 minutes of self-care time. So creating a study and a work schedule is one thing. Sticking to it is another thing. And I know, Nicole, you kind of talked about how we have to be flexible, but also still kind of trying to stick to it. So it's kind of this fine line of and balancing, do I stick to this, or am I able to be flexible today? Because some days we're going to be able to be flexible, right? Like, we have things that we need to get done that we can delay into a different time. But then there's times when we've already procrastinated and we're not able to delay anymore, and you're going to have to stick to that schedule. So using technology tools is another really big thing for graduate students, especially today. So, Google Calendar, notes. So you can use like Microsoft OneNote or Evernote. I'm sure some of us have worked on all of these, but this is just like a small list of apps that we're able to use. So for notes, Evernote and Microsoft OneNote is really good. I found these to be helpful both in school and work, because I can do them on one device. And then let's say I have 10 minutes and I'm able to squeeze something else in, you can just pull it up online instead of having to have that device with you. The other one is Meetup. So it's really good for work and school for networking opportunities. You're able to find others that kind of resonate with you and share the same beliefs as you. And then Calm and Insight Timer are apps that you can use for meditation and restful sleep. The one I use today is Insight Timer, but I know Calm is also a really, really good one. Do you guys have any other apps that you use pretty regularly that you feel helps you organize better or use better time management?
Well, I know my iPhone, I usually like to use the little reminder app up there. It's pretty useful for just about anything, any like appointments or assignments, or letting you know you have a Zoom meeting coming up. Make sure you have a computer on and be prepared. I like to use that. I actually did come across the Calm app, and that was nice. I did like that one. It was really good. YouTube, for some reason, is also a good place for just finding just different like meditation, relaxation, really anything. If you were looking for it, it has a lot of different topics. Just to go up there to find a video, and it could just be educational and relaxing at the same time. So that's a good platform.
For me, if I'm too lazy to write in my calendar, I just put it on my notes really quick. Like, I just found an old note, but like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I just put it, but I put it in like, even if I don't put the times, I put it in a chronological order that I understand which comes first and which task is going to be put for last. But that's like if I'm in a rush and I don't have time to put it in my calendar.
Yeah, I use the notes feature on my phone too, on my iPhone, for my grocery list. I have whatever, like for Instagram, I have a nonprofit page that I have to keep up. And so I have like hashtags grouped that I can copy and paste easily and get to. Bible verses that calm me. And then like passwords and things like that. The notes feature is tremendous. But then I'm psycho in my little like grocery list. It's like I group it together, like this is Target, this is Trader Joe's, this is Sprouts. Like,
So don't feel like you're psycho. There's literally an app for that, Nicole. It's called Shopper.
you don't tell me these things.
No, I am, because it's so quick and you can do it so much quicker than like your actual notes once you get the hang of it. So, and it's also really good. And I know that you live alone, but like for me, I share it with my husband. So like if he's like, I'm gonna go to the store after work, what does Allie need? You can share it with people. So I'm trying to show you one of my lists. Okay, so I have a Fred Meyer list, because that's what's closest to us, and a Costco list. And then the great part about it, the app, is it organizes it for you by like aisle. So like condiments and uncategorized, deli. Yeah. So Nicole, I'm sorry, you're gonna spend the rest of the day organizing.
My excitement, like through the roof.
And it's helpful because like we can keep notes. Like we used to have like a grocery list like on our fridge, but I'd always forget to take it with me, or I'd be running to the store and be like, oh no, my list is at home, right? So it's called Shopper. It takes some time to get used to, but once you get it, I'm sorry, it's good. I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry at the same time. Okay, back to some more tips. So organizing your email. I personally have 8 emails, you guys. Like it's no joke. Like I have my work one for my therapist position. I have a work one for my school-based therapist position. I have like my junk email. I have my professional email. I have my school email. Like, so taking time to organize your email and your email within your email and then like your emails as a whole can be really beneficial. So like creating those folders, having them labeled, like not just having the name of the email on your phone, but like work email or like school email can be really beneficial. We probably all do this, but setting up like a document management system. I know we all use like Dropbox or OneNote, or we've used things of that nature before. The Drive to OneDrive, is that what we use? I think. So then the last 2 things on this list is keeping clutter to a minimum. We've really talked about that as far as organizing, but clutter can be pretty stress inducing. Clean homes promote a sense of control too. Like we're not able to control everything in our lives, but we are able to control the clutter. And then just simple things like keeping your keys in a bowl or all of your bills in one drawer. You can store seasonal or unused items in the garage or basement. And then the last part is cleaning and decluttering are first steps toward getting organized, but developing good habits will keep you organized and productive for the long haul. So in summary, just a couple things that we've touched on today is like organizational skills are both genetic and learned. So we all have to work on them, continue to work on them throughout our lives. And while it might take time to get organized, it's well worth it. It helps save you time and stress in the long run. There's no one size fits all. Organization looks different for all of us, right? Like just a quick example, like I can look in my kitchen and be like, yep, that's where my silverware goes. But when I go to my parents' house, their silverware is not where I think the silverware should go, right? And they've lived there 2 years and I still look in the drawer where I think it should be. So organization isn't one size fits all. And then the last part is good organization requires maintenance to be effective. So you're never really done organizing, unfortunately. It's something we can't just be like checked off and be like, yep, we're organized. Like it's a constant work in progress. So any thoughts, questions, statements about today or about organization?
You gave some really good tips and useful tools that we can use going forward. Like, I'm not just saying that to be complimentary. The way that you organized this session was very fluid. It flowed well. The time went by very quickly. And the way that you broke it up, you know, with sort of breaks to recenter definitely made it. I just thought you used the time very well. So
Thank
good
you.
job.
Yeah, I think you did a phenomenal job. I liked how you talked about like organizational skills, but brought into light the different varieties of how people approach that. To be honest, I didn't know that there were so many ways that people could organize and prioritize certain tasks. So that was a cool thing for me to take away from. But yeah, you did amazing.
Thank you. Okay, I think next week, when are we meeting? Who's leading? Samantha, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe it's going to be on healthy exercise and eating to avoid burnout. So we'll be kind of slightly visiting that burnout. And
Perfect. And then what day? Did we schedule a day?
Saturday, right? Saturday at 9 o'clock. Is that still fine with everybody?
I think we did Sunday.
Or Sunday? That's fine.
Celine, didn't you say that I would need the extra day after my vaccine?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm having my second vaccine on Friday. I'm sorry to be the one to screw up the schedule.
No, we've been very flexible. Don't apologize.
So I'm supposed to I guess, plan on not feeling well that Saturday. So if we can do Sunday, that would be great. I just don't want to like,
Church,
Is it
right? On
possible?
Sunday?
Yeah, is it possible to do like 10:30 or 11?
yeah,
Yeah, that I think that will work. We can do it at does 11 sound okay with everybody?
Yeah,
works for
so
me.
11 on Sunday, the 11th.
Mhm.
Works for me.
Hey, any last minute questions, concerns, anything?